Chapter 5 plays out the festival so many fans have been eagerly anticipating. If you play the neutral route, Chris tags along as a third wheel, wingman, and moral support for Susie's big date with Noelle. The group project in Chapter 4 left space for Susie and Noelle to talk and establish sweet, wholesome chemistry between them. While these two have a solid foundation, Chris gives them an extra friendly nudge at the Ferris wheel and the relationship strength tester. They're Susie's best friend and slowly rebuilding their previous friendship with Noelle, so they're in a uniquely perfect position to help the flustered lovebirds. Both of them trust Chris, and Chris's involvement helps smooth over any heightened nerves or expectations attached to their budding romance. As soon as the player finds Birdly, he kicks off the impress him to be his festival date competition, which pretty much amounts to him directly asking each one in turn if they'll be his date. When Birdly first asked Noelle, she almost said yes because of their previous dynamic. He asked her again. She has a backbone to say no, but tries to be diplomatic and polite. She insists they're just friends. Hopeless, oblivious Birdly asks Susie, and she angrily tells him she's with Noelle. He has the audacity to approach Chris next, and even uses the ridiculous nickname Queen came up with for them. But Susie intervenes and cuts him off before the player or Chris can respond, saying that they need Chris. Then Birdly changes tactic and tries to join them as fourth wheel. Every shot he took is rejected, but he takes it all with surprising grace. He pivots to announcing he's a fellow wingman, and that if Chris or Noelle need any extra help, he'll be around. He even sidebars with Chris and presents a bad poem he came up with for Noelle to use to impress Susie. It's sweet, in a way. While Birdly does finally take Noelle's hint and back off, he tries to maintain his smug, superior attitude with what comments he makes about Chris playing third wheel. It's a backhanded, hypocritical comment. He's trying, he's slowly improving, but whatever improvement he's made is offset by not quite knowing how to handle his changing dynamic with Noelle. He wants to continue getting included, but he doesn't know how to handle rejection with tact or grace. In other words, just backing off and not continuing to try to force his way in. He doesn't understand exactly where he stands with Noelle, the difference between a crush and his newfound fondness for Susie, and whether he actually wants a romantic relationship with someone at all. It's realistic that it will take time for Birdly to drop his superior nerd act and let his more vulnerable side come through more often. While Chris might have gladly gone on a date with Birdly now, it might be for the better that Susie quashed that option. Look, Birdly was approaching Chris as option number 3. He gets credit for supporting Noelle, but he needs a little more time improving his friendship with her, learning how to talk to and listen to others, period, and his own feelings or sense of self. That said, it'd be a fantastic idea for him to hang out with Chris more often as just friends. Even with player interference in mind, the festival is a showcase for how compassionate, supportive, and emotionally intelligent Chris is. Later events in Chapter 5 show how much they love their dad. Chris's ideas may not always be the best thought out or planned. They might not know exactly how to fully express himself, but they care. The scene where Asgore pushes Chris out of the dark world and shuts the door in their face broke my heart. They're trying to save him and help him out. They want the best for him as much as he's trying to do the best he can for them in his own way. Both of them would benefit from sitting down and talking to each other. Chris loves deeply and fiercely. If Birdly asks him out again, he needs to be genuine. No bluff or Casanova act. Chapter 5 is full of little ship teases and hints. Susie and Noelle are the one definitely canon ship, but I'm convinced that there may be a dangling thread for Chris and Birdly. So the Purple Darkner, Seth, is a self-professed Birdly fan and admirer. There's a little scene where he mentions brokering some kind of shady deal with Chris. The player thinks Chris is about to give Seth the all-important game mechanic feather, but no, they're giving Birdly's #1 fan one of Birdly's feathers. Susie bursts in and asks Chris why they have this memento conveniently on hand. Chris just blushes in response. How the player interprets this is ambiguous. I've chosen to read this as Chris honestly likes Berdly. Whether they have a crush on him or mild romantic interest, it's just not the right time, place, or circumstances to fully explore or unpack those feelings. While the chapter highlights Susie's newfound interest in romance and navigating her feelings for Noelle, Chris is learning some new things too. Susie asks Chris how they'd approach someone they like. From what little players have seen, Chris's frame of reference are their divorced parents and their older brother having trouble confessing his feelings for Des. Asgore's Dark World has some dating sim inspiration to it. Chris defaults to flirting whenever anything mildly romantic pops up. Anything deeper or more intimate than that probably feels weird. They might admire Berdly's bumbling, unabashed confidence. It doesn't matter how awkward or misinformed he is, he'll pick himself up and keep on trucking. In a way, Berdly has a similar awkward, dorky charm to him that Asgore probably had pre-divorce. Unlike Asgore, Berdly is working on course correcting and being vulnerable. He's trying to fix his strained friendship with Noelle, and slowly getting better at understanding or not bulldozing her boundaries. Chris has seen Berdly at his lowest. If they started liking him, it was when they saw him lower his guard. They like the hidden version of him that Noelle sees as worth maintaining a friendship with. So, fan art originally sold me on Chris and Berdly. Chapter 5 just cemented how much I want more Chris and Berdly interactions. Period. I don't care if it's romantic or it's just a slow burn friendship. I want more. I want more of these two. Thanks for watching. If you enjoy my stuff, like, comment, subscribe, ring the bell, and add me to your RSS reader. Share this with your friends, family, villain rivals. If you're in a decent spot and can do so, I have a Patreon and a Ko-fi. Patreon members get to see some of my scripts, finished and unfinished, early. I've also opened requests on Ko-fi. I'll write up a short character analysis or other kind of analysis for $5, and make a 2 to 3 minute video on the topic of your choosing for $20. For $10 extra, it comes with a custom illustrated title card. If you've already donated $5 to $20 or more on Patreon over any duration of your membership, you can request analysis topics through email or Patreon itself.